Welcome back to PR on Test Drive. I'm James, and I have been driving this 2025 BMW 550e for an entire week. I've actually got to spend some time with the electric platform of the 5 Series in the BMW i5 last summer. And I remember telling you guys back then that, look, you don't have to get the 5 Series in a full electric vehicle. It does come in a full gas, and it also comes in a hybrid variant. So naturally, when this thing crossed my desk here in Montreal in a plug-in hybrid electric form, I absolutely had to get my hands on it. And I gotta tell you, my first impression of the 550e was, okay, it's going to be an efficient, probably more luxurious week than a performance kind of fun to drive week. But I don't think I was right in my first impression at all, because looks don't say it all. I mean, this sedan still looks kind of sporty, but to me it looks a little bit more on the luxurious side. But don't get it twisted, this vehicle packs an absolute punch for what it is for a plug-in hybrid vehicle. It is absolutely not an M5. Horsepower number-wise, it's not really close to the M5, but for a road car, for a fun plug-in hybrid vehicle, this might be at the top of your list. All right, so now on the road, BMW 550e. What a good week it has been to be driving this thing all week. What an experience it has been. I was actually just setting up my cameras and somebody saw the charge door open because I left it open by accident when I just popped it, bumped into it, it bumped open, and they're like, oh, I'm never gonna buy an electric car again, whatever. I don't think the person thought I could hear him. But again, when I say that a lot of people walk by this and just don't assume anything of it, is a very wrong thing to do, because this thing is quite powerful. So I'm gonna pop it into sport mode because I do have to let it kick on sometimes. Okay, I've already kicked it on during this drive, so the cool down is done. But sometimes when you put it into sport mode, you'll see like this blue meter in the gauge cluster right here, and it'll kind of like, kind of go away as the engine kind of starts to warm up, so you can get your max performance here. But I'm gonna show you what I mean when I mean sleeper, and that this thing has got quite a bit of power. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna shift in to sport transmission. So I'm in sport mode, and the transmission is now also in sport mode. So it's going to be lightning quick, but there's one more step I need to do in order to get this thing into full sport mode. But I'm just kind of going here a little slowly, so that way I can get to the area where the speed limit picks up, and there's less chance of us getting in trouble, because there is a significant speed increase right about now. So I'm gonna pull the boost paddle, I'm gonna see the 10 seconds, and I'm gonna floor it. Oh my God. So I've been doing that all week, and it caught me off guard again. Because when I hold the boost paddle, it gives me full EV power and full engine power for 10 seconds or until I let off the throttle. And obviously, I don't want to wrap this BMW around a tree, and I don't want to go to jail, so I have to stop. But that is an insane amount of power. Like, the first time I did it, I was just like, okay. So you're quoting me, it's well over 400 horsepower, right? Well into the high 400s, and it's just ridiculous. To be specific, this BMW is powered by a 3-liter inline-6 turbocharged engine with a 14.4 kilowatt hour battery that's capable of 55 kilometers on a full charge. But good news, I've been seeing upwards of 64 kilometers on a full charge. So all of that means this thing produces 483 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque, all-wheel drive, lightning quick. And I mean, 483, I think, is an absolute understatement, because this thing feels like it's pushing 500. It feels like it is. I mean, it just rips when I put it into the boost mode. It uses that EV torque, and you really do feel all of that torque. Over 500 pound-feet of torque. It's ridiculously quick. And I mean, like I said, when it pulls up, you just think, hey, this is a nice luxury, potentially, if you don't know what you're looking at. Maybe it's just a regular old electric vehicle. Not the 550e. No. This is a plug-in hybrid that can absolutely rip. And it's not even the M5. The M5 has a plug-in hybrid system as well. So you have to imagine that if 483 horsepower feels like that, does that to me, what does like over 700 horsepower in the M5 feel like? I have to find out. I have to know. In my lifetime, I'll have to know. But yeah, so when I'm in sport mode, the handling stiffens up quite nicely. Obviously, since it is a plug-in hybrid, you do have a significant amount of weight. You do sort of feel it, It is one of those things where, you kind of feel the weight when you're pushing it. But like, I don't really mind it because for a road car, like I get my smiles out when I'm ripping it, when I'm going in a straight line. It's still really fun that way, and the ride quality is absolutely elite. It is really, really comfortable. It deletes all the bumps, even in sport mode. Like, and we got some aggressive roads here in Quebec, and this thing really, really does a great job at just making everything very smoothed out, very refined. Like I'm going over bumps right now, not moving. I barely even feel them. All right, and another straightaway coming up, which means another mandatory hold this boost paddle and go crazy. Let's do it again. Actually, let's let this car get away from me because that's a slow Tucson. No offense, Tucson, but you got nothing on this 550. Here we go. Hold this and go. Oh my God. It redlines at near 7,000 RPM. Okay, and also I waited till the light was a little lower outside because I really wanted you to see this accent from the GoPro shot. I wanted you to see the blue as I kind of went through here. So we're kind of doing like an evening / sunset drive here with the 550e, although there's quite a bit of haze and smoke in the air, so the sunset is not really coming through, but the evening it definitely is. And oh man, is it really fun to drive. And you know, it can do your long haul stuff, right? I have the driver assistance package, I have the assisted cruise control, I have the traffic jam assistant package. So like when I'm in traffic, which I was today, I just turn kind of the adaptive cruise control on and it just follows traffic for me. Absolutely no problem. It'll even change lanes for me. Absolutely no worries. It can park itself too. You know, with a price tag of just over $100,000, all those things should be expected and they should be there, and I'm very glad that they are. So we know it drives really well, we know it's a sleeper, we know it's great, and I really like driving it, but how is the interior overall? Well, it's classic BMW luxury. It is exactly like, it's super familiar to me because I drove the i5 not long ago. So I have, like I said, I have this really nice interior lighting. I have the premium enhanced package, which is giving me the sunroof with the sunshade in the back, and also the sun blinds, the things you can pull up. There's even like a little tiny one for the back seat to hide a little tiny window. It's really cool, and it's just a nice little attention to detail. But yeah, the back window has a full shade too. I've got heated and ventilated seats up front, heated steering, heated seats in the back as well, a decent amount of room in the back seat, not too bad at all. Baby seat fits perfectly in there, my wife fits perfectly back there, I fit perfectly back there at 5'11", really no complaints, a ton of headroom, and again, a very nice sunroof to look out of. Now, one thing I will say is that if you are a fan of physical buttons, you will not be a fan of the way that the 550e or the 5 Series interior kind of acts, because there is very little buttons, and most of them are like haptic feedback buttons. So you're really not getting a lot, right? Even these memory seat settings that I have, even like all that is all gonna be touch buttons, although the seat adjustments are still physical buttons on the seat, which is nice. But like, you know, even on my steering wheel, I've got haptic and stuff like that to control the gauge cluster, which is cool. You can get a couple of different themes. It switches up with the drive mode. You can see my screen even switching up. I do have gesture control, so I can raise the volume, skip the track and stuff like that just with my hands. It's an interesting feature. Not something I would necessarily use though. But yeah, a good like 95% of the vehicle is all controlled via infotainment / gauge cluster manipulation, which is not great, honestly, because I am a physical button guy, but like it always has worked, right? I'm like about 3 for 3 with this kind of BMW infotainment / gauge cluster, and it always just works. Like there's never any hiccups, which is good. And I think after 3 vehicles, if there was gonna be hiccups, I feel like I would have seen them by now in one of the BMWs that I've driven that have had this kind of platform here. But really no problem. I can control everything really well. Wireless Apple CarPlay only. I'd prefer to see wired because it's just easier, and for me it's just easier because it interrupts with my filming a little bit less, because it doesn't disconnect my phone and like, you know, do all these weird things. But that's because I film with a phone. If you don't film with a phone, well then you're probably going to be completely fine there. Seat comfort is really good too. The bolsters adjust when I go in and out of sport mode or into comfort mode and things like that. There's also a couple of different drive modes and stuff. So if I hit the My Mode button here on this center console, I can see, you know, I've got like personal, which is, you know, a color that I could set. I've also got efficient. I've got expressive, relax, which will play some like relaxing music, digital art, silent, stuff like that. You know, it just kind of gives the vehicle a little bit more personality. But honestly, the 5 Series has a lot, or just the 550e series anyways, or this version of the 5 Series BMW has a lot more personality than the i5 does, because it has an engine. Because when I am ripping around through town, there's show to it, right? There's an exhaust sound. There's some type of non-EV sound that just gives me a little bit more show. Obviously, with just the EV, you still have quite a bit of personality with the ambient lighting and stuff, so that's really good. Sound system is also phenomenal, but like getting back to the control center where I click my drive mode buttons, I can also click my parking. I got 360-degree cameras, high quality cameras, a couple of quick access buttons, and now you can see it's trying to cycle through things, but there's nothing to cycle through with the gesture controls. Start stop button, my little gear selector here, typical little BMW guy that we've been seeing, and this knob here in the middle feels super high quality. Like, I felt it before, but this one feels like elevated. I don't know why. It just feels super, like when I click it, it's very satisfying, and you don't have to fingerprint your entire screen to kind of access what you want, and it's easy to do while you're driving, which is really important. So yeah, I could take this on a road trip. Probably not going to take it on a track, but I mean, you probably could have a little bit of fun if you did. But it's just like, it's your weekend Sunday ripper, you know? And it doesn't look like it, but it can also just completely turn off and be absolutely efficient. Like, I can just go into full EV mode. I don't do it because I only have a week with this thing, so I'm gonna do that a lot and as much as I can, because it's fun and because I'm an enthusiast and I like it, and I can take manual control with my paddle shifters here, and I can rip through gears as much as I want, and I just appreciate it for that. I appreciate it because in the morning, sometimes I'm not in the mood, you know? I just want to, you know, be efficient, and I'll just drive to work in full EV mode, no problem. And then when I get off of work or I want to go for a drive, you know, in the middle of the day, sport mode, transmission in sport mode, boost paddle, I'm gone, I'm making noise, I'm being obnoxious with my music, and I'm having a great time. So next I want to talk to you guys about the exterior styling of the BMW 550e. Now, like I said, from the exterior, at a first glance, you're not really expecting to have all the performance like you just saw. I really didn't expect it to absolutely take off on me when I put the power down, but it absolutely can. Now, I do have the M Sport package, which is giving me some nicer bits. I've got the blue brake calipers. I also have the illuminated front kidney grille. I've got the shadowline headlights, and it also has launch control, but still, even without the package, you still could have this kind of performance, and it still really wouldn't show it that much, right? Because the front end isn't so aggressive, right? Because this isn't an M Light car, and it's definitely not a full M vehicle. So you're not expecting an aggressive stance from this 550e. You're expecting just, hey, I'm a normal plug-in hybrid, I'm efficient, I'm not fast, don't worry. Couldn't be further from the truth. I really do feel like this is kind of a sleeper to me. It's just the vibe I get when I walk away from it in parking lots. I'm like, it looks fantastic, don't get me wrong. It looks like a luxurious BMW. And then you see the charge port right here next to the driver's side, and you're like, ah, it's a plug-in hybrid. Or if you don't know what you're looking at, because there is a green plate in the back, you might think it's a fully electric BMW, but don't get it twisted. This thing fires around. I really like the 21-inch rims here. I've got the aero rims here. It looks pretty good. Side profile wise, it's got a long, it's still a long sedan, right? And it's got a decent ride height as well. It's kind of still looking sporty sort of on the side here. We do have a nice little 5 badge. Obviously, if you know what you're looking at, if you see a 5 Series and it's a fully electric, you will see an i5 and also an I in the front. That's how you can tell the difference. Out back, again, still doesn't really show that it's sporty. There's a little diffuser back there, but it's kind of hidden exhaust. The exhausts are not shown off, but there is a decent sound coming from it. I drive with the windows down, and I can hear a decent thing coming from this engine. So not all of it is pumped in, which is really good. But of course, I want to know what you guys think. I'm standing next to it in person. I've got the BMW shirt on, you know. I want to know what you guys think. I am a fan of this so far. There's really little to complain about in terms of look and style and performance, surprisingly again. But look, I'm impressed with it, but I really want to know what you guys think. Price tag is just over $100,000 Canadian, but again, BMW, you kind of understand that that's kind of what you're getting yourself into when you walk into those dealerships, especially when you start adding all the packages that I've got here. Yeah, you're going to run yourself some numbers, but I think it might be worth it. I think if you've got the cash, why not? So that is just about going to do it for my review of the 2025 BMW 550e. It's so sad to see it go. It's one of the BMWs that I will actually, you know what, if I'm being honest, so far BMW has really gotten me good, and I've missed every single BMW that I've ever driven. There hasn't been one that's disappointed me. And even the ones that I think are be like, oh, it'll be a chill week, nice luxurious BMW, can't complain, I end up liking it so much more because it ends up having a lot more personality than I could have ever imagined. I don't really like to watch too many reviews or like do too many things. So like I went into this 550e completely blind, and like, so when I ripped it for the first time, I heard the engine, I felt the power, I was like, wait, hang on a second. I did not expect, I was like, hello BMW, what have you done? You've taken something that should be like just efficient and chill and luxurious and made it like a little bit of a weapon, like on the street. Like, this is more than enough power that I could get myself in trouble with. And I'm really trying my best not to this week. And there's a lot of cops out. Not been pulled over once, but there is a lot of activity. I'm sure I've been looked at, but again, I kind of have that build where it's like, oh, it's just a luxurious BMW. He's not doing anything wrong. He's definitely not causing trouble, And it's like, but I very well could be. I mean, there's enough like of that I could really be dangerous. It's like, I don't, but like, I just love that. And again, like I said, when we were driving, it's just so nice to be you know what? I don't want to cause any more problems. I just want to be a nice, citizen here. We're going to turn off the exhaust. You're going to just go into EV mode, be nice and efficient, and save myself some money here. I can absolutely do that. I can do that for 64 kilometers straight, and then it'll kind of manage itself. Really cool. I mean, interior-wise, super comfortable, can do a road trip, can rip around, can have fun on the weekend, can have fun after work, but can also be efficient. Enough, interior stuff to keep anybody busy for a long time, just kind of learning everything and learning the system. And that's definitely something you're going to want to do is take your time, sit down with this thing and really examine it, but drive it in the sunset like I'm doing, experience this ambient lighting, just experience the BMW, because it is a really, really cool thing. Flat bottom steering wheel, little M badge on it, there's a little sport, like a little sprinkle of sportiness in this, electric plug-in hybrid vehicle here. And there's just something so cool about it. There's just something so cool about the styling of the interior, the color, and the color of the exterior and everything in between. BMW have done a very good job with this. You can tell they put a lot of thought and effort into it, and I just don't feel like it's covered enough, I feel like when I do like search up to see like who's been posting what, not necessarily the context, just to see like how much content there is out there, not a lot of people know the 550e exists, I don't think. And that's a damn shame, because there should be a lot more people driving around in these things on the road. They are a ton of fun. If you have one at your local dealership, I'm not sponsored by BMW, but I really think that some enthusiasts could really get behind this. Like, maybe you don't want to spend M5 money, and maybe you don't need to if the 550e exists, and that's good enough for you. Just a food for thought. Like I said, I can't wait to get my hands on the M5 if BMW allow it. We'll see. I don't know, can't make any promises, but if they offer it to me, I will do whatever I can to get it. Trust me, I want to take the 5 Series full platform. I want to see everything it has to offer. So we'll see what happens. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here because I'm losing my son. So eventually all you'll see is this blue stuff and this red sporty thing. It is very cool at night, but you kind of want to see the person reviewing the vehicle, right? That's why you clicked on it. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Make sure you like, subscribe if you want to see more BMWs on the channel or more videos just like this one. I'll see you in the next week. See you in the next car. Take care.